Hello everyone, my name is Uzair. So the topic of my presentation today is mainly sharing my journey as a PhD student and what happened afterwards. So you have seen like what NUS has to offer, and secondly, what are some of the considerations that or questions you should be asking before you start a PhD. So I'm just going to cover what I did and where I am today. So just starting with a brief intro about myself. Originally, I'm from Pakistan. I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering, graduated as the valedictorian, but the discipline I did it in was electrical engineering, and my feeling was I should have studied computer science. So fast forward to my master's program, I actually went to Italy at the Politecnico di Milano University for my master's in telecom. Didn't like, dropped out, came back to Pakistan. So I'm a dropout as well. And this was in mid-2016, and I was back to square one, started to apply for scholarships mainly. And fortunately, I got a direct PhD scholarship offer at NUS. So in 2017, Jan 2017, I came here. The topic was security and privacy within the cyber physical systems. And me and my advisor decided to pursue the angle of blockchain and how we can design privacy preserving and security-centric solutions. So my final project involved ethically hacking the Ethereum blockchain, which we successfully did. So if I have to highlight one contribution, this is it. During my PhD, there were two instances where I went to my prof and told him that I want to work within a startup to just see what's happening beyond academia as well. So the first time I went to him, he told me like I should be focusing on my studies, my papers and my work. So I dropped the first opportunity, but the next time it came up again, I went back to him again. So you have to be relentless and persistent while you do a PhD as well. So that's where he gave me the time to work within a startup for 6 months. And that's also one of the great things NUS has to offer, that if you want to spend that kind of time full-time with the startup, they have flexibilities for that as well. So I graduated in mid-2021, and that's where I co-founded my startup called Betterdata. So I'll just explain a bit about what we are doing there and then how it came about. So quickly, just to share my PhD overview. So this doesn't mean to show you how many papers I published. If you just look at the bottom of the screen, I don't think it's too small, but for the first 3 years of my PhD, 2017, 18, 19, I didn't have a journal publication. And one of the requirements, of course, is you have to have 2 to 3 tier 1 journal publications. But in my 4th year, things went up, and by the time I graduated, I had 15 papers. So by the end of my PhD, similar to how I felt when I was at the end of my bachelor's, that instead of electrical engineering, I should have done computer science. My conviction at the end of my PhD was I was super interested to explore privacy engineering as the next step. And having 15 publications under the belt, I wanted to challenge myself as well. So that's why I went out to seek positions in the industry. And in parallel, I was working on the startup idea as well. So I did apply to NUS GRIP as well. They didn't accept me. So it also doesn't mean that if you're at NUS, you will likely get in, but you have to present your case or you have to justify it properly. So when I was writing my thesis, which itself is the cornerstone of your PhD and the work you do, these are the two statements that I was looking into. When we talk about data itself, there is private data where you have privacy problems, and public data where you have IP problems. And given all of us have used ChatGPT these days, so we can see no longer like any company can just scrape data and use it for commercial purposes, because you can you're looking at lawsuits like the New York Times suing OpenAI and Microsoft. So the goal really was, how can we create a solution that addresses privacy as well as IP solutions? And the idea that we came up with was synthetic data. So just to briefly explain it in one slide, on the left-hand side, you can see real data that looks like your typical tabular data sets, so CSV files, Excel. I'm assuming all of you are here today interested in doing a PhD, so you have seen data in this format. So what we do is we take this data, we have built a platform with our own proprietary algorithms where training happens, and after training we are able to generate synthetic data. So it's similar to how you ask ChatGPT a question and it gives you a very realistic answer. In our case, we take proprietary or private data that companies have and we churn out artificial data out of it. But at the same time, real data has privacy implications, synthetic data has no privacy implications. So companies can now use data or repurpose it in ways that they previously could not. So globally speaking, financial and healthcare data as well as governments are the sectors most interested or most or suffering from these problem statements. So those are the sectors that we are targeting. So right now, this is just a composition of our team. So on top, you can see Prof. Biplab. So he was my supervisor during my PhD, and he's our R&D advisor with the startup as well. And within our AI team, we have already published tier 1 publications. And the goal, as the previous panel presenters were mentioning, is to contribute to the field. So when we talk about tabular synthetic data generation, we already have published, we already have built a platform that is currently being used by customers in Asia as well as the US. And the goal is, again, to contribute as we go. So this is just some of the things to brag about the startup. But since we started, we have been winning awards pretty much each year. There are some publications that came out of it as well with customers as well as our technical team. So yeah, today we have the honor of being the only such company in Asia. And the reason for me to share this with you is when we talk about contribution, of course, there is nature and then nurture as well. So what I am able to achieve today, NUS has a pivotal role to play in it. And if you want to decide to do a PhD, then in my opinion, it's one of the best places to be. So my email is there. If anyone is interested to reach out, just email me. Happy to have a chat. Thank you.